in this video, I'll show you guys 2 things you can do in your life right now to completely get rid of fear. Now, I thought I'd help you guys out because I heard through the grapevine that these next 6 to 12 weeks are going to be the worst weeks that we've had so far. No surprise here. I was not surprised at all when I heard that because we all know how the government likes to skyrocket sickness and illness levels through the roof whenever it's wintertime and it's in the colder season. So I'm really not surprised if we all of a sudden see like a million cases of you-know-what. So I thought I'd just help you guys out, help you guys get rid of fear, give you guys a fighting chance to get rid of fear before it all pops off. And so you can be on the side of so you can be with the side of the people that aren't experiencing fear, because when stuff goes down in the next month, people are going to be stressed and feared out of their mind. So I thought I'd teach you guys how to completely get rid of fear as soon as possible. So basically what you have to understand is fear is programmed into you. Alright, you don't really see babies, you don't see newborns terrified of a damn spider crawling on the wall, you don't see newborns screaming at a wasp flying in the air. So I thought I'd just let you guys know right off the bat that fear is programmed into you. But before I can teach you guys how to get rid of fear, we need to understand what fear even is. So when you look at fear and boil it down, why do we even have fear? So almost every fear that exists, when you boil it down, all fear is really just a scare, the fear of dying. Like fear of death, for example. Should I keep that intro, bro? I mean, so before I can teach you guys how to completely demolish and get rid of fear, we need to understand where fear comes from. Almost every fear that exists boils down to the fear of death. For example, fear of heights, you're afraid you're going to fall to death. Fear of swimming, you're afraid that you're going to drown to death. Fear of spiders, you're afraid of that tiny flickable spider is going to bite you and you're somehow going to die. It all boils down to the fear of death. So my first tip that I can give you with how to get rid of fear is to realize that death isn't real. Yes, this body, this ego can die, but you are not this body. If you believe in an afterlife, you can't say that you are this body, because Christians, for example, they believe that when you die, your soul goes to heaven. So if your soul goes to heaven, how are you this body? Let me explain. This body you're only in this body to have a human experience. This body is not the real you, because if you believe in the afterlife, how are you really this body? Oh, my head hurts. So to recap, the first tip and step is to realize that you are not this body. You are not this body. Your true form, who you truly are, is not this body. Stop being so attached to this body. That's like you hopping into a car and saying, oh, I'm now this car. Like, no, your soul hops into this body to have a human experience. And then when you die, your soul leaves the body. And whatever you believe in, whatever you want to believe in, I'm not telling you guys what to believe in this video, but if you believe to go to heaven, then you go to heaven. So you're not this body, basically, is the end all be all. Because you don't hop into a car and say, oh, I'm now this car. Nah, nigga, you're not Optimus Prime. So you're not this body. But if you're an atheist and you believe that there's no afterlife and you don't believe in anything, just click off my video. What the hell are you even on my video for in the first place? So that's the end of tip number 1. Because once you realize that this body is not the true you, a lot of the stress goes away because you realize that none of this stuff is real. Like, none of this even matters. So a lot of the stress and fear goes away because you won't really have a fear of dying, because you know once you die, there's more to life than just this. So you really lose a lot of stress and fear just off realizing that fact alone. Now, this might not happen overnight because it does take some time to get used to realizing that there's more to life than just this human experience. Now we're all connected, and that the energy that's inside me is the same energy that's inside every living thing, but that's a whole nother video. Let's hop into tip number 2, what you eat. What you eat is very important. For everyone that watches me and still consumes meat, yes, I know there's probably still people that watch me and still consume meat, which is mind-blowing, but for all the people that still consume meat and you have a hard time eliminating fear and you're still paranoid and scared a lot of the time, it most likely, I guarantee you it's because of what you're eating. Now, for all the people who don't believe me, boom, let's pop in this chart over here. So we got the food chart, you know what I'm saying? And as you can see at the bottom, what is at the bottom? A whole bunch of meats. And what color are they with? Red. Now, if you see this chart, now I can't see it because I'm going to edit it in later, but if you look at this chart, they're aligned with the colors of your chakras. So what is at the bottom? Meat. What chakra color is that? Red, which basically is your root chakra. Now, we're talking about spiritual stuff at this point. Now, what does your root chakra have to deal with? Fear. Fear is in your root chakra. If you're experiencing a lot of fear all the time, you're living in your lower self, which means you're living in your root chakra. You need to understand that everything is spiritual. People be clowning on spirituality. Oh, it's just conspiracy theories. No, this is real life. That's why majority of the world is always in fear. That's why the news can tell pretty much the whole entire world anything. You know why they're so manipulatable, and you know why they're always in fear. You know why everyone around you is so scared all the time? Because almost everyone in the world eats meat. Like, this is all just... And we've all been brainwashed into believing meat is good for us. Like, who even told us meat is supposed to be eaten? Where in the rule book of life, what scientific research backs that we're supposed to be eating meat? It's just crazy. But yeah, that's why the majority of the world is in fear, because majority of the world eats meat. There's not that many vegans compared to how many meat eaters there are. So that's why there's more people that are scared and depressed and all this anxiety. But yeah, if you look at where the meat is, it's at the bottom. What's at the bottom as well? Your root chakra. And if you don't know what your root chakra deals with, it deals with fear. So that's good reason. If you're still eating meat and you're also still scared and paranoid, that's why. Also, what they won't tell you is, let's just break it down. Let's say you eat a chicken, right? And we all know that these chickens are tortured. We all know that unless you're eating some real nice farm-raised chickens, which you're probably not. If you're eating out here, eating Tyson or McDonald's, you're eating chicken. Almost all chicken that you're eating, or any meat in that matter of fact, was tortured while it was in a farm. And what you have to understand is, all those chickens that you be eating, they're raised off fear. If you're eating McDonald's chickens, they were raised, they're in fear their whole entire life. And almost all the meat that you be eating was slaughtered. Very few meat that gets sold was killed naturally. They don't really do natural deaths. They just slaughter all this meat. You know what that means? That the animal was in fear before it got slaughtered. Because, I mean, if I was a chicken and I was like getting kicked around my whole life, and then they just slaughtered me, and I knew I was about to get slaughtered, I would be scared too. So all these animals are terrified for their life. And you know what that means on a spiritual level? When you're scared, it changes your blood. Fear can travel through your blood. So that means fear hormones. Yes, because when you're scared, your body gives off fear hormones, which travel through your blood. So these fear hormones that are traveling through this animal's blood right before they get slaughtered is in their blood system right before they get slaughtered. So that means when they get slaughtered, their whole entire body was filled with fear hormones. And you know where those fear hormones go? They stay in the food. And then when the food gets processed through all the packaging, then the fear hormones are still in that blood, still through all that chicken or cow, whatever the hell you're eating, stays in that food. Then you just cook it up and think that it's all good and it tastes so good. Oh, I can never go vegan. And then you're eating fear hormones and you wonder why you're terrified. You're just, what am I so scared for? I don't know. Because you're eating fear hormones. I cooked this. I cooked the meat. I cooked it. Just because you cooked the meat doesn't mean you cooked all the blood. And a lot of people be eating meat that still has raw blood in it. So all those fear hormones that travel through the blood are now in your meat. And it's crazy that people still wonder where fear comes from. Half the fear that comes from is from just your diet alone. Because all that fear hormone is now in your meat. And now you're eating, a lot of people eat pretty much raw blood. If you're eating a medium rare steak or whatever, it's raw. And now you're getting fear hormones all in your body. And people really wonder why they're scared. So it's really not a conspiracy. Like, half the fear comes from programming, because we're programmed to be in fear our whole life by these elites who aren't even human, but that's a whole other video. And the other half of fear comes from what you're eating, because you're eating meat that has fear hormones all inside of it. That's the end of this video. Basically, to sum it up, the two steps to get rid of fear: realize that death isn't real. You're not this body. Stop being so scared to die, because that's where most fear comes from anyways. And step 2 is to stop eating meat. Completely. Any type of meat. Fish, chicken, anything. But that's the end of this video. If you decide to still eat meat after this video, by all means, go ahead. But that's the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys liked it. I'm done with this video. From now on, do not ask how to get rid of fear. If you got any other video suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. And I hope this really gets rid of all your fear. Stop being scared of stuff that doesn't even exist. And I'm out. And nigga, and